Channel 21 is not stopped either. There it is. Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. We'll get started here in just a few minutes.
Good to go on YouTube. So as soon as whenever you're ready.
Okay, it is now 5:01 p.m. Quorum being present for the council, I will call the meeting to order. We are in executive session for the next 30 minutes until 5:30, at which time we will come out of executive session and start listening to candidates for purposes of an eventual selection for the council replacement, and but not this evening. This evening will just be to listen to council candidates. Will be an executive session pursuant to the RCW that is listed on the agenda for purposes of discussing the qualifications of applicants and employees. All right, we will be in recess for that purpose. Thank you.
So council needs to join the exec session link.
Yeah.
So we sent you. So leave
That's
this
what I thought.
meeting.
Okay.
Sorry, I guess they didn't make that clear. I was
Thanks,
like, no one's
Stephanie.
leaving. You're welcome.
I'm watching everybody. I was like, oh my gosh.
No
Okay.
problem. No problem. See you in a little bit.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
And Will, if you could mute your video until it's your time for the interview, that'd be great. Thank you.
So.
Yep.
I think Greg's connecting back.
Did I get on the wrong one?
Yep, you're on the wrong one. So leave
Okay.
this one and just join the link for the exec session.
Okay, got it.
Perfect. Thank you. So to all the applicants that are online, council just adjourned, called the meeting to order for the special meeting. They're going to go into exec session for about a half an hour. At 5:30, they're going to call the meeting back to order. And then they're going to rejoin you and go through the applicant list that we sent out to you guys. So if you have any questions, I'm here for the next half an hour. I'll be listening if you have anything. Otherwise, you can just monitor your Zoom and wait till we call the portion back to order. Okay? Does anyone have any questions right now? If you can leave, you can, while we're like this, if you can unmute for a minute if you want, or undo your video if you like, but then when the council calls it back to order, please keep your videos off until they call on you.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Maddie.
Just doing a sound check. Thank you.
Yep, no
Sounds
problem.
good, buddy.
So you guys are going to probably hear this speech a couple times from me. I'm just trying to check to make sure, give you guys instructions. So the council called the meeting to order. They're in exec session for right now for about 30 minutes until 5:30, until our process starts. So if you have any questions of me or have any problems or issues or whatever, you want to do a sound check, you can feel free to do that. We do ask that you keep your videos off during the meeting when they come back and only turn them on when it's your time. So if anybody needs anything, let me know. I'm here. Thomas is here as well, our IT director. He's here somewhere, I think. Thanks.
Hi, just doing the sound check.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Thank-
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
So just a kind of general question. The original email I got from you, I think it was from you, Stephanie.
Yes.
It made it seem like everybody was going to get about 5 minutes to speak to the council.
Yes, that's right. Mhm.
But then I got like a second email that's had like a series of questions just a day or so ago.
Yeah, so that was my deputy. Jen sent that out. So what happened is a couple of the applicants were asking, what are we supposed to talk about? What are they looking for? What information do they want to know? So those were just kind of general, if you don't know what to talk about or you don't have something prepared or something, those were kind of topics that you could focus on is kind of what that was. It was a little bit feedback to give people direction because some people wanted direction as to what are we supposed to say in our 5 minutes. So they're not going to be asking questions. They're just going to let you guys talk for 5 minutes, just to, whatever you want to give in addition to your written applications. Background, some of them are looking for finance and business information, if you have any of that, how you're connected to the community, whatever that email had in there, that was some of the feedback we got from council that they're looking for. But we set up the times for 5 minutes and then a minute in between for connection for this type of thing.
What the heck?
I don't know. Oh, that's Thomas.
Ryan had requested me put this up.
Okay. Is this running on YouTube right now?
Yeah, it is. That's why.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay.
It's a live meeting. It's a public meeting.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Okay. So we should maybe keep this to a minimum.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start here in just a few minutes. About 2 minutes.
Just a quick announcement for all the interviewees. If you could please keep your video muted until it is your turn for the interview, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, 1 second.
Again, to all
So
the
we're waiting for
applicants, just make sure to keep your video off. Video off and mute, please.
Okay. I just need 1 second. Okay. I will call the special meeting to order. Let's see here. Would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
United
America
States of America.
and to the
To the
republic for which it stands,
stands
one nation,
one nation
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
liberty,
for all.
justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. All right, so we have interviews today, and we had a previous executive session to this that went from 5 to 5:30. The stated reason for that, I did not have the RCW handy, but it was for a potential litigation pursuant to RCW 4230-1101I, and that was from 5 to 5:30. Now we have City Council position number 5 interviews from 5:30 to 8 p.m. This will be an opportunity for the council to hear from each candidate for a period of 5 minutes and to speak directly to the council. An action will be taken at a subsequent regular meeting to narrow the field of candidates prior to the additional formal interviews. Okay, so with that, we've got the list of, let's see here. 1 second.
Mayor,
Yes,
Mayor Farrell,
yes, yes.
we're still missing a council member. I'd like to wait until she gets on in case she's having an issue. Does any
I believe
Thomas
she's
or
connecting.
anybody
I
know?
believe. Lydia?
okay, thank you. I'd like to
Yeah,
just
she's
yes.
connecting, I think.
Thank
Uh-huh.
thank you.
Just
I think
give
it's
her-
important that we just wait for her.
Okay.
Sometimes technology can be a little bit more time consuming than walking from one room to the other. Thomas, do we know if she's connected yet?
She is not connected. I'm gonna go walk over and see if what Jerry Lynn is if she's in contact with.
Jerry Lynn told me she's trying to connect, so I think they're troubleshooting it right now.
Okay. I feel it's really important that all council members are able to hear this.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. In the meantime, I'd like to thank everyone who has applied for the position. We're really excited to hear what you have to say to us, and I'm very thankful that we had so many people apply.
And actually, while we've got a few minutes, I don't know if anybody has had a chance. I sent this to the council. We put this on my Facebook page, but we have according to reports of the Seattle Times and King County Emergency Management and King County Public Health, as well as Pierce County, there is a large plume of ash headed our way to Western Washington from the California area, based on their wildfires. So, from satellite images, you should probably go online or take a look at it, and see that over the course of the next few hours or over the night, this plume of ash is headed our way. So please take precautions. Make sure that people that have health issues don't go outside, and make sure you take a look at either my Facebook page and or the Seattle Times and King County Public Health about making precautions to make going out in the smoke, especially people that have lung issues or respiratory issues.
Mayor, do we know how long we expect that plume to be in the area for just the day or the whole weekend?
Hard to say. We've been in contact with King County Emergency Management and King County Public Health through Ray. I asked him exactly those questions. So when I talked to Ray, I was trying to get a sense. It really does depend literally on which way the wind blows, and how bad we'll get it, and just exactly how severe it is here. So we just need to take precautions and just be prepared. I saw a notification that Councilmember Assefa Dawson is joining.
Yes.
Mayor, Council President, we are we're still working on that. There's an issue with a link, so we're working to resolve that right now.
Okay.
Well, having been in the position that Councilmember Assefa Dawson is in before, I'm sure she's very frustrated at not being able to be here right now. So
Exactly.
it is very upsetting when everyone else is here and you're waiting and you can't quite connect. So,
Oh, I know. It's panic inducing.
yes, it is. I mean,
Yeah,
I had
I
to
know.
rush to City Hall. So,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, for our 6-hour meeting.
Gosh, was that the? Yeah, sometimes these evenings do go on for.
Yeah, it was a meeting that got over after midnight.
I'm wondering if we should move forward and have her pick it up on YouTube later, because everybody who's, slotted for a time slot may be on a time issue.
Let's give it maybe just a couple more minutes. I hear you, Councilmember.
Mhm.
Maybe just a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Maybe it's just right there in the cusp.
Mayor, I do see that we do have at least the first 8 people on the line, so we can just go in the order that we have them. We have everybody on so far.
Okay. Any update on
Oh, go ahead.
She should be
Stephanie? What's
She
that?
should be on now. I see Lydia, Councilmember Assef. There she
Yay.
is. There she
Yay.
is. Welcome.
I'm on. Thank you so much for waiting. I don't know what happened. It got messed up.
Of course.
There.
Of
Thank
course.
you so much.
You're welcome. We were just talking, Councilmember Acevedos and the council president and I were just talking about that panic-induced feel when you know everybody's on, and you're trying to get on desperately. I've kind of mastered the art of getting on right at the right moment, like at exactly the time, or maybe like seconds to spare. But anyway, we got you. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, council, so much for the time we're going to spend. All those candidates who are about to speak, thank you so much for your time and for putting yourself out there. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Will Bagarigan.
Hello.
Hi there.
Oh, hi, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to the council members. I'm so happy to meet everyone in WebEx or in the Zoom. Anyway, my name is Will Ferrer Bagarigan. It sounds like Farrell, but it's Ferrer. I'm not related to Mayor. Anyway, as far as introduction of myself, I am a veteran of the United States Navy. And so as to attacking the question of what is your life or work experience that prepares you for this position, it starts from the leadership that I have, the leadership background, having been a president of the student council from high school to college and to my medical school. That gave me the foundation of leadership that I was trained for. As a veteran of the United States Navy, it has taught me the honor, the courage, and the commitment to work for what is good and to do what is good for the community. I am a director at the Multi-Care Health System, and I have led different projects and efforts all around our 28 clinics, working collaboratively with different managers and different directors as well, and supervisors. I am a member of a 25 member group of the belonging community of the Multi-Care Health System, and with that is definitely working with the team to make Multi-Care more equitable and more inclusive organization. And so that gave me the opportunity as a leader to understand and deal with multicultural groups and different groups of people from different backgrounds. Also, as an advisory to the school superintendent of the Federal Way School District, I have engaged in meaningful discussions that impact not only the life of our students, but also the families of our school district. So what is my vision for the city and what steps that the council should take to achieve that future? My vision is for Federal Way to be a sustainable, to have sustainable sources of income or revenue. So, and that entails or involves increasing sustainable revenue streams to fund our city programs. I would envision myself and the city to be involved in efforts to explore revenue sources for the city, and the revenue sources that would lead to economic development and maximize the potential the potential of our city. And I believe we are in a position and we have the opportunity to do so, knowing that at least 32% of our taxes or of our revenue source is from taxes. And so I would envision attracting more business and more and make our city really attractable to people and private groups to put up business in our city. And then also reduce homelessness. I would say the city should be designing a comprehensive program that would be involved in, it's a transitional program that would provide temporary homes and make our homeless people productive and healthy at the same time. As far as past involvement in the community and how it will help me if it gets appointed, as a founder and president for 10 years of the Filipino Americans Society, I have dealt with diverse groups, leading projects that unite and develop camaraderie of at least 100 families. And as a CCD teacher and liturgical committee member of the St. Vincent, it is another proof of how involved and engaged I am in the service of people. Very happy to be joining you today. I discovered Washington because of the United States Navy, and my son was born here 17 years ago, and now a happy resident of the Federal Way city. And when we talk about opportunity, this is just one of those opportunities. And so I'm just glad, and thank you so much.
You're muted, Mayor.
Hi.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bakarian. Thank you.
Thank you so
Mayor,
much.
Mayor, if it's helpful, I can pop on the video when you have 30 seconds, then the applicants will know they have 30 seconds left to wrap it up. Is that what you'd like me to do?
Sure, that's great. That's a good idea.
Okay, I'll do that. So when I pop up on the screen, applicants know you have 30 seconds to wrap up.
Thanks, Stephanie.
All right.
You're welcome.
All right, now we have Allison Taylor. Allison, welcome.
Hello, Mayor, President, Honda, and the rest of the council. I'm really excited for this experience. I know last time we were like, wow, there's 19 applicants. And then there was 26, which then, whittled down to 24. But I have done research on some of these people that I didn't recognize their names, and there's a whole lot of good stuff coming your way tonight. So I'm really just grateful to be a member of this group. In terms of my experience, it's always hard to talk to this group because so many, you all know me really well. I have done a lot of things in my life. Being a teacher first, being a counselor first, while I was in school to be a teacher. I worked in a program in a middle school that was aimed at kids who were on the school to prison pipeline, essentially. And I did a behavioral management program, and junior high kids are really in a tough place in their life. So it was a really interesting and first jump into working with children and working with humans in distress and in trauma. And this was in the Bay Area in a very impoverished area. So, and that was 20 years ago. So I just love working with people of all types. I have, I became a teacher. I taught high school for a few years. And at the time I taught at a school that was for kids who were also on the school to prison pipeline. And they were kids who had already been expelled from schools and kids who were on the way to expulsion. And some of the kids that just didn't fit in a regular public school. So they chose the school that I taught at as an alternative to that. When I moved here 7 years ago, I went into the social services field. As you know, I worked for CPS essentially for 2 years, and now I work with the Developmental Disabilities Administration. I've had prior to that, I did work in a lot of corporate jobs. So I've had a little bit of business and I've had a little bit of nonprofit, and now I have, public service under my belt for the last 7 years. In terms of the vision for this city, we are truly at a precipice, I think. I think that with Sound Transit coming in, we have an opportunity to shape this city in a way that we I don't even think we can imagine who we can come out of this being in 8 to 10 years after they've put Sound Transit in and we've built that center core. I do think that we have made some efforts to start that process, with the PAC, however controversial the PAC exists, and I hope that it is successful moving forward. And I really want the downtown area to be a place where people go, with Kent City, their city center, and Redmond has Redmond Square. And I think that that's what we need to be focused on, is making sure that our downtown core is a place where families can come and have family time, nightlife, and whether it's clubs. I think I even mentioned in my application, I would love to see a dueling piano bar, because as much as I love rap music, I grew up in musical theater, so I would love to see a dueling piano bar or something like of that nature. I'm sorry, my neighbor 5 times a day. It's really, I don't know if I can get my time back for that guy, but sorry. So I would love to see that, but I also want to make sure that we have mixed income housing. I want to make sure that we have services for people who need social services. I know that like in Seattle, they have both High Point and the Greenpoint neighborhoods that have mixed incomes. They have, they'll have a coffee bar, and then they'll have a WIC office right next to it. And I think that's what we need wraparound services for our entire community in terms of people who are at the high end of the socioeconomic space and people who are at the low end. I also think we need to do concurrent planning in terms of businesses. I think that we have opportunities to bring big businesses here, like we talked about. I'm not saying that little Bellevue thing that people talk about all the time. I see you, Stephanie. But I definitely think that we have opportunity to get small businesses and big businesses. And in terms of past involvement, I've sat on the executive board of my union, 80 people that made decisions for 45,000 people. I am the chair of the Democrats, which I would have to actually step down from if I were to get this position, but I'm willing to do that because I think that this city is my home now, and I think that I can contribute to it greatly. Thank you so much. Good night.
All right. Thank you, Allison. Great job. Okay, next we've got Deborah Larson. Deborah?
Mayor, she is on via phone. So
okay.
She might have to press the *6 to unmute herself.
Hi, Deborah.
She's still muted.
Okay, Deborah, you just have to hit *6.
Oh, there, she's unmuted now.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Hi,
weird. Because I unmuted my phone, but it apparently didn't work until I did *6. I tried to sign in on the Zoom link and I got website not available. So I apologize for not being in on the visual part of this.
Oh, that's okay.
As far as what makes me maybe different than other candidates, I have an extremely diverse background in a number of different things. My father was born in Hong Kong to missionary parents, and he was raised, because he was the minority there, he was raised to overlook race, which is how I was raised. Not that it doesn't exist, but it doesn't matter. I had 2 brothers growing up, one with a mental illness and the other one who was brain damaged as an infant and is currently about age 6 in his 50s. I have fought most of my life to be treated on the same plane as my male counterparts. I was the first female in my high school allowed in to take auto shop. My children are biracial. And my career, I did retail for a while, and then I went back to school for engineering. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, of which I was one of 2 females in my graduating class. I have friends and relatives in the LGBTQ community. So that's kind of my background and where I'm coming from. In business, as an engineer, I worked on a lot of public works projects to provide energy and resource conservation for school districts and municipalities for their buildings, which entailed everything from the initial analysis through project developing, contract review, managing the project completion, and coming back and testing to make sure that it really did everything that we intended it to do. I've worked in municipalities and school districts all over the state. After that, I did 17 years in that, and then I started my own business, which was in beautiful downtown Kent. So I'm sorry it wasn't here. I started a membership, well, it wasn't membership. I started an art studio, which was open to the public with the intent of growing a creative community and helping people with their creativity, but through that creativity with their emotional and mental health. I understand, because my brother was mentally ill and was apparently killed because of it, that we need to do more to address the root cause of homelessness than calling in the police or pushing people somewhere else. They are people. They don't think the same as we do, but they are people.
We're at the wrap-up point.
Huh?
We're at the wrap-up point.
What? Okay. I think that my unique background and empathy, my education, and my ability to understand a wide variety of viewpoints makes me a unique candidate.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Deborah.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we have Renee Seam.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Mayor and council members. Thank you for having me here. My name is Renee Seam, and I want to quickly start by talking about my life and work experiences relevant to this position. I was born and raised in Federal Way to immigrant parents. I went to school here. I got my bachelor's in political science and my master's in business analytics from UW while also living in Federal Way. Work-wise, I have experience working at Microsoft Center of Intelligence with a focus on international and geopolitics. And currently I work at BECU as a financial risk data analyst. Both jobs involved strictly reporting to executives and the board to help them understand the best data-driven decisions to make for the business. All of these experiences honestly, I believe prepares me for this position because I have been in Federal Way all of my life. I've seen how the city is for children, for teenagers, for young college students, for young adults. My political science bachelor's and my time at Microsoft gave me an intimate understanding of politics and how governance works. And then my master's in my work in finance helps me understand what businesses need and how political offices can help achieve that, as well as how to dynamically approach issues that pose significant financial or business risk. And so my data and financial skills are something that would bring value to the council because it would provide a means of data-driven and financially sound solutions. All of my work experience is about risk, whether that's geopolitical or financial. And so I understand intimately the ins and outs about the risks that are associated with decisions, whether that's long-term or short-term. And having to be in on those difficult decisions and the businesses at both Microsoft and BCU, I understand how to not just discuss those issues at hand, but also provide a solution. So I'm going to quickly shift gears here and discuss my vision for Federal Way. So I want to see the youth in the city more represented or see the youth involved in politics more. People typically say across the board, I want to leave the city a better place for my kids. Well, I was that kid, and growing up here, I've seen firsthand what children and young adults need. We need to retain the growing talent that comes Federal Way. The city doesn't really get to reap the benefits of growing talent that comes from the city. I've seen such smart people leave to go to proxy cities nearby because there aren't enough opportunities to keep them here. I mean, honestly, Weyerhaeuser, the biggest reason they left was because of a lack of talent. And you know, Federal Way is dynamic. It is also mixed in ages, and there's a huge youth and young adult population that's unspoken for. And focusing on robust cooperation with the youth in the community, which includes representation of what the youth wants, is almost vital. So why not get them involved when they're the ones who will have to live in the city after us? And some major steps we could do as a city is utilizing St. Francis and CHI Franciscan medical research in conjunction with the UW Federal Way when that comes. And for the time being, maybe UW Tacoma or UW Seattle to retain talent in the area and provide more robust opportunities and more of an economic push for businesses to recognize Federal Way as a viable location, to have small businesses expand operations here. And, you know, with COVID, we can work towards showing Federal Way as a city that has a great cost of living and amenities to remote workers. Public transportation through the transit system is a great amenity for remote workers and you know, get the job opportunities to Federal Way, keep the talent here, and make the city an attractive place to settle in because of the jobs and keep the cycle going for the future generations. And these kids will see someone similar to them on the council, something that I wish I sort of saw when I was a student here, and something that is honestly truly correlated to high youth involvement in politics. And so to quickly wrap up, I want to discuss my involvement in the community. It's largely been child-oriented organizations in education and tutoring. And my volunteer work with these children really opened my eyes up into the things that the youth needs on a holistic level that I maybe wasn't aware of. And that's education otherwise. And that also includes robust mental health services that addresses the growing mental health crisis in the country. I kind of want to bridge the more coordination with organizations I currently volunteer with in Federal Way that target the youth to better understand what the council can provide to them. And it also would allow a voice of representation for youth when they're honestly mostly voiceless. And so to wrap up, my visions and skills can really be helpful to Federal Way and it can help Federal become more well known for the city we are instead of just a road from Seattle to Tacoma. So that's all I have today for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Renee. That's great. Good job. Okay, Mehdi Sadri.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, Madam President. It's great to be here. My name is Mehdi Sadri. I've lived in Federal Way since 1989. I worked for the city of Federal Way from 1992 through 2010 as an IT director. I am an immigrant from Iran, and I'm a graduate of Oregon State University. I'm kind of feeling different because I've been looking at those desks and chairs back there for so many years, and now I'm envisioning myself being on that side of the table. So I've seen Federal Way grow. Since 1989 here, I lived at Redondo and later moved to West Ridge area. Federal Way has grown quite a bit, and it still has a lot of potential to grow even further. I think as a government, we have a couple of tools in our hands to help us shape the city. One of the more important ones is the land use. How we make land use decisions, that shapes where the city is going to go. And the other thing we have in our toolkit is the infrastructure, the management of the infrastructure, our roads, our streets, our traffic, and such. At the same time, we are a huge bedroom community. And if you're talking about economic development, small improvement in our bedroom community can increase the value of our homes, which by in turns can create a large amount of revenue. So that's a possibility. That's some area to work at. And to get our citizens to work together to make this one of the best bedroom communities in the King County and region. So as I've said, I've worked with many mayors at Federal Way, and now I'm working at City of Renton. And I'm working with many administrators, directors, managers, and such. I think I can provide a little bit of a point of view of city employees in terms of how the council decisions get implemented and becomes actual from a vision to an actual resolution and a system. I think I can bring that to the table. So that's really my pitch. And if I can be part of your team and if I can be part of your group, help make this even a better city, that would be an honor. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mehdi. Good job. Great to see you again.
Good to see you.
All right. Now we've got Kimberly Stormont. And actually, if we get Kimberly started in the next minute, we will be back on schedule. That's fun. Kimberly?
Yes.
You ready to go? Okay.
Can you guys see me?
Hold on. Let me see. I got to flip my screen. Let's see here. We're not going to start the clock.
Start your video. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
There you are. Hi there.
Okay. Hi. Gosh, I wish my background looked like your guys' background, but it doesn't. Maybe it can, though. So my name's Kim Stormont, and I'm actually new to Federal Way. I've lived here for 2 years. I'm 52 years old. I lived in Bellevue and Issaquah for 27 years and raised both of my children there. I'm a college graduate from Bellevue College and worked in the real estate industry in the multifamily development. So the big, tall apartment communities that you see in downtown Seattle. So I specialized in those, probably did, 12 or 15 buildings. So I worked with the city, I worked with owners, developers to get them the certificate to occupy and to get it all beautiful and to fill it with Amazon employees making lots of money. And actually that's what I hope for Federal Way. Maybe not Amazon, but good companies making lots of money. So having said all of that, my life experience actually is more, I think I have a PhD in life. Single mom, the entire way. I have a daughter that's 25 and a son that's 33, and they're both awesome and amazing. But I raised both of them on welfare and on Section 8. So I like to say that the board that I sat on was DSHS board, and the other board was the Housing Authority. It was beneficial for me. Both my kids graduated. One graduated from Issaquah High, one graduated from Skyline, but it also was a hindrance. I learned a lot, and I also learned a lot in the real estate industry about a huge discrimination in that particular industry against lower income, predominantly Section 8 people. I mean, I lived in one apartment for 12 years just for that simple reason, the fear of moving. My last building that I had to leave out of was for that very reason. But having said that, I'd like you all to know that I would never move back to Bellevue or Issaquah. Federal Way is my actual favorite place that I live. It's my favorite home. But I think that people like me need a seat at the table. My children also are biracial. And I like to say that my son is 33 years old. So that was back in the day when, you know, you didn't go outside. It wasn't really cool. But I ran away when I was 15 and I made it. I'm an entrepreneur now, and everything was doing well and going fine. I was launching my business in April, and then March 13th happened. And I went into my part-time job at that time, and he said to turn around and go home, and I've been at home ever since. And so my vision for Federal Way is to clean up Federal Way, to give hope to the hopeless. There's a lot of hopeless going on. And I know that what I've learned through all of this time being at home, and everybody's having to rethink their life and how am I going to pivot? How am I going to do it? Defining the problem and everybody wanting the same result is so important. And we have to address the homelessness. We have to address the drug problem. I've seen things that you shouldn't see. I try to help. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I find it to be a problem. With all the restaurants closed, homeless people cannot walk up to drive-thrus and get food. So I go down to McDonald's around dinner time and give out socks, and there's always a homeless person there with their own money wanting you to buy them food because they cannot walk up to drive-thru. So I'm a problem solver by nature. I'm very clever, can save you guys tons of money, and I'll make you laugh while doing it. Thank you for the time. Everybody, I love you. Be safe, be healthy.
Thank you, Kimberly.
Yes.
Great job.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Our next applicant is Sonia Myers. Calling Sonia.
Sonia appears to be connected by via video, but not via audio.
Kimberly, we're going to have you mute and undo your video. Can you stop your video? Perfect.
Mayor, this might take a
Yes.
little bit of time to resolve. So if it would be okay for you in the council to maybe skip to Matthew, and then I can give Sonia a call and get her dialed in.
Okay, Sonia, if you can hear us, we're working on it, and Thomas is going to help you, and then we'll get you before the council as soon as we can. With that, do we have Matthew available?
Yeah, give me a second.
There you are. Hi, Matthew.
Hi. So I've lived in Federal Way for most of my life, since 1989. Graduated from Truman High. Did my higher ed education at Highline College. Saw you speak, Mayor Farrell, in my first poli-sci class. Gave you a hard time, actually.
Good.
As a person with disabilities, I believe I would bring a pretty unique perspective to the council. Just because not a lot of people have that perspective. And I would also be able to empathize with Federal Way's diverse and sometimes even oppressed populations. So my community service in recent years has been limited due to those disabilities and also some family issues. However, I've tried to make up with this with contributions to charities and other such. I give to Black Lives Matter, also Northwest Harvest. In 2018, I helped organize a voter registration event at Highline, and we registered about 400 students, if I remember correctly. Also served on a number of committees while at Highline, including the restructuring committee, which was a wild success. This cycle, a couple of friends and I tried to organize a voter registration event, or a number of events, but found it too difficult with social distancing. I also have organized a charity drive for people with autoimmune disorders. As you can see, I kind of, because of my disabilities, I kind of focus on people who have been ignored by society. Last thing I've focused on was the backpack program, the Northwest Harvest backpack program, which I was a partial organizer for. I believe my position as a grocery worker and a member of the UFCW 21 also gives me kind of a unique position, because I can stay in touch with our community. Everybody has to go to the grocery store. I talk to people every day about their problems. I can stay in touch with them. You wouldn't believe what people tell grocery workers. We're the new bartenders. I had a whole section about Black Lives Matter, but let's just say I'm proud of our police, and I am proud that the few protests that we've had in Federal Way were not overly violent. As far as my ideas for the city, let me just ask the council, what is Federal Way's identity? I mean, when you think of like Des Moines or Tukwila or Seattle or Tacoma, what comes to your mind? Seconds. Okay. And I think we do have
the council isn't answering any questions tonight.
I understand, but and I do think Federal Way does have that have an opportunity with the Link Light Rail and that building project in the center of town to open it up, bring in new revenue sources, and even new businesses. And we can create an identity there. I think a great idea would be, Allison outlined that greatly. What I think would be a great idea would be to like expand the things like the farmers market and other community events so that families would be more interested in sticking around and having more events like that, and even creating more natural spaces around the city. Last thing I want to touch on is what everybody wants to touch on is homelessness. Obviously, with my disabilities, I understand why people are homeless. I've had a lot of trouble staying in a stable home. And I can give you a lot of great ideas. I'll wrap it up right there. And pass it on to the next person since my time is more or less elapsed.
Great. Thank you, Matthew. Great to hear from you. All right, good job. Okay, do we have Sonia on board?
Mayor, I believe so. She is connected, I see, and so I'm going to ask her to unmute. Hopefully that will work for her. Sonia, if you can hear us, just go back to Zoom, the Zoom app, and then unmute yourself, and you'll be able to talk through your phone.
Sonia, can you hear us?
I see she's still muted. Oh, she just unmuted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This has been interesting. Can you hear me now?
Yes, and Sonia, before we start your timer, I want you to know that we were talking about how frustrating it is. We were talking among the council and myself about how frustrating and it is when you really want to get on and you can't and have technical problems. So we understand totally, and just take a breath and let's get you started as soon as you're ready.
All right. So I just clicked start my video.
Got it. Oh, Sonia just muted. There you go.
Okay. So I am basically an immigrant, and I came here from Europe when I was 14. I finished high school here in the United States, was married, had children, and then subsequently became a single parent and raised my children by myself while going to school, and then started going to work. So doing all of that, I have I've been on welfare and raised me and my children out of that situation into being a middle-class family. So I think that all of that in a nutshell kind of helps me understand the community a little bit, because Federal Way has a community that's pretty diverse in, some of the less financially stable families, as well as, more well-to-do families. So that, I think that helps me a lot. While working, I was working at Seattle Children's, and I worked there for about 12 years. My position was that as the pharmacy billing and purchasing officer, but basically what that meant was that I was the jack of all trades in attending meetings and participating in committees that would help improve partnerships between the different, between the pharmacy and other departments, such as, the kidney transplant department. I was working closely with IT and other things. And all of that was to facilitate better patient care. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. And how, the other thing I have is I have my AA, of course, and I'm a licensed pharmacy technician, so that gives me an AAS. That also kind of helps me to understand the nationwide opiate crisis a fair bit, and how, drugs and such affect people's lives. I think that's it. So then my vision for the future, as far as Federal Way is concerned, I've been here for over 30 years. So I have seen Federal Way growing by leaps and bounds with the housing and, parks and all sorts of things. It's become huge, or it feels huge, right? More so than it used to. What I see is that potentially with hockey coming to Washington, and specifically Seattle, one of the things that could maybe give Federal Way a competitive edge would be to maybe have our own hockey rink, or to expand on the parks and recreations that we already have, with, say, something that addresses a lot of the older teens' parkour interests. Definitely, the basketball courts always fill up quite a bit. And so it's really hard to get out there and play basketball. So maybe some additional basketball courts. So that would kind of be more of the recreational aspect for Federal Way that I can kind of see, or a park that has exercise stations for people to still be outdoors and to do some of that. My question is, with Federal Way getting bigger and bigger, the current power grid, how is it able to handle all of that? Or is that something that needs to be addressed to maybe not have as many brownouts or power outages that we currently have? And or with all the additional housing, is the sewer facility able to keep up with all of the additional strain? Once COVID is over and done with, and the remote learning goes back to being in classroom learning. One of the things I noticed last year was that when my daughter was going to middle school, there was a lot of speeding that happened when the kids were out and along the street. So where it's a 20, 25, because you're in a school zone, people are still going 35, 40 miles an hour. So speeding is actually probably one of the concerns I have for Federal Way, because it happens everywhere. 320 is a good example, because on 320, as people easy cruise 40, 45, 50 miles an hour, and it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. What to do about that? I don't know. We can put in giant speed bumps to slow everybody down, or if there is some other means where maybe, like for the school district, the middle school can also have speed cameras where it clocks, the cars instead of just the elementary schools. The other thing, as far as businesses is concerned, I think that I have a lot of friends that really don't do any shopping other than groceries in Federal Way, because they are frugal with their finances, and so they prefer to go shopping at outlet stores. So maybe there's a way to bring in outlet stores, or like a Burlington Coat Factory or something to Federal Way to kind of keep revenue and businesses, here in Federal Way.
Mayor, the time is up.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry?
Hi, Sonia. Your time is up.
Okay.
But thank you so much. Is there one last sentence you'd like to say to wrap up?
No, I just no, that's it. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sonia. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good job. All right. Thank you. All right. And we, Leandra Kraft.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Can you hear
Hi
me?
there.
Okay, great.
Yes. Yeah.
So good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear from all of us today. I really appreciate it. My name is Leandra Kraft. I am a 29-year-old Filipina American, and I work as a deputy prosecuting attorney for King County. I have been a part of the Federal Way community since I was about 3 years old, and I grew up here. My husband and I purchased our first home about 1.5 years ago in the Puget Sound Hills neighborhood, and I am now a mother of a 1-year-old daughter. I've lived in several neighborhoods here in Federal Way and understand that each neighborhood and their citizens have diverse and different needs, even between our neighborhoods here in Federal Way. I'm a political science major and a law school graduate, and since law school, I have been involved in the larger King County community. I currently sit on the executive board of the Filipino Lawyers of Washington Bar Association. So that's the Bar Association for Filipino lawyers in this state. And I've participated in the Youth and Law Forum, which is held annually in Seattle. And it's a forum for underrepresented youth to get more interested in legal professions, including law school and political representation. So what you all do. As a deputy prosecutor, I actually hold two is working in the Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Program. It's also known as LEAD. It may be getting some slack and too much attention lately. But in this role, I work directly with law enforcement officers, social service providers, first responders, defense attorneys, and community representatives. My role in LEAD really gives me experience in working with a wide variety of people, and it has really helped me learn how to come to a mutual understanding with different stakeholders to get actual work done. If we can't make compromises and try to understand the other sectors that we work with when we're coming to a common goal, it's really hard to get past the conversation and get into action items. But LEAD has really helped me gain that experience. The other role I have in my office is being one of the two prosecutors who reviews and negotiates hate crimes cases, so bias incidents. This role has helped me maintain a balance between working in progressive alternatives to the criminal justice system and being grounded in what is seen as traditional prosecution that's necessary and when there are high crimes and victims involved. In the hate crimes role, I am one of the first points of contacts for the victims that we deal with, and I am one of the main contacts for community members to voice their concerns about hate crimes generally, about lack of reporting between communities, and other general concerns. I have personally seen Federal Way grow significantly in the past 10 years, and the city will continue to grow, as a lot of the other candidates have said here today. Because we're growing, Federal Way really has the opportunity to grow to be a city that our community really needs. My vision for Federal Way would be proactive planning, greater resources, and uplifting the youth. I say proactive planning to mean planning for transit-oriented development as Federal Way becomes a main stop for the light rail. Federal Way needs more sustainable revenue through businesses, and developing around transit-oriented development could help gain more interest from businesses. It could create a nightlife like some of the other candidates have mentioned, and generate more work for Federal Way citizens to stay here instead of actually going to other cities to spend their time, spend their money. They can actually stay here and get work. At the same time, I really do think that Federal Way needs greater resources. We need more services to be able to respond to our community's needs. and the council can maybe work on finding a place for another day center for homeless individuals and or another youth center closer to downtown Federal Way for our youth to have more positive impact. Council can work with other South King County cities as a coalition, I believe, to gain a stronger voice for funding from the county. Something that I've learned in my current role at the King County Prosecutor's Office is that often South King County municipalities get ignored when it comes to funding. And we continuously have a growing population. And I think that we could work together with the other South King County cities to get that funding and be a stronger voice. And since Federal Way is one of the most populated cities, the resources should be here. Finally, as a council member, I would work to gain a deeper understanding of Federal Way's needs by being out in the community. I would work with community members, especially the youth, so we can build a stronger base for the future of Federal Way. And right now, I noticed that there are open voting seats on the Federal Way's Youth Commission, and I'd really like to help change that. It is extremely important to me that the City Council reflects the community that you all serve. And I really know that my personal life experiences and professional experiences would really bring a unique voice to City Council. And I know that being on council, I wouldn't know everything because there's no possible way that I could know everything until actually being in that position. But I am willing to learn. I would dedicate the time that it takes to actually get up to speed on the issues, spend time to understand the community's needs, and work with the current council members. And really, right now, we're at a really weird time in the national and local politics where everything is so divisive and polarizing. But I truly and genuinely want to work with everyone who's willing to work with me. And it's important for a council member to represent the community regardless of whether we personally agree with each other. And I would make sure to bring the underrepresented voices to the table so that everyone could be heard. And that's about it. So thank you so much for your time and for hearing all of us today.
Great job, Leandra. Thank you very much. Okay, now we have Debbie Harvey.
Okay, can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, and wanted to start off by saying thanks for the opportunity to speak before you all tonight. And wow, what a great pool of candidates. I've been listening and what some awesome talent out there. So to start off with a little bit of background about me from a very early age. I'm one of 11 children. We grew up as sharecroppers, cotton farmers. My mother was a single parent of those kids by the time I was aged 5. So she raised all of those kids by herself, which gave me a great role model to look up to. We were no electricity, no running water. We were truly, sharecroppers. So I think that gave me a really deep background of working for what you can, and everybody can prosper. And so even though you might come from meager means, there's nothing in your way if you want to progress. So I just wanted to start out by saying that. So yeah, I've been living in Federal Way for 40 years now. My kids, grandkids, all went to school here. Was involved in school all the way through high school. I felt like I went to high school at least twice afterwards. So it's been a great community. When I first moved here, very small town, moved here in 1980, and it was just quaint little town, and it has grown by leaps and bounds since then. So about my career, I worked for Weyerhaeuser for many, many years in the capacity of human resources. And so while working with Weyerhaeuser, I had the privilege to connect with all the employees. Part of my job there was to explain to employees and coach and train them on all the benefits that were at their fingertips, whether that be medical, dental, vision, Medicare, Social Security, life insurance. It was just the whole gambit of benefits package for them. So helping individuals has kind of been in my nature for quite some time, and that's kind of where my passion is. So in that capacity, at Weyerhaeuser's heyday, at the big moment of employment, we employed over 50,000 employees all over the world. So it was quite the diverse group of people, and you had to be flexible, not only in, times of days, but days a week, because trying to administer those benefits all over the world, it's not just a Monday through Friday, your time. So worked with organizations across the company, identifying training needs. Once we researched and did a review of the cross-functional issues, my job was to identify and deliver those training to both large and small groups. Again, going back to providing counsel to all those employees for those many years. In-depth experience with leave administration, training, HR management, project manager for open enrollment for the company. That was my project each year. Also developed and implemented quality assurance team, coordinated the guidance for time management for the business and site level, while developing and maintaining documentation for the process improvements. Part of my role was to travel across the U.S. to implement any kind of new procedure or policy, and to also go to the sites to provide help with the local HR. As part of my job, I would bring employees in and have discussions. And my biggest contribution was listening to everyone, because I think when you have the buy-in of the people that it's going to impact the most, that's where you're going to gain the most success. And I look at that as a city too, is that when you can get buy-in from your constituents or your citizens on what you're trying to do, whether it be a policy or a procedure, or you're changing the rules or a law, whatever it may be, when you can get that buy-in, the success is going to be much greater. So also part of my role was, again, it wasn't just all policy and procedure, but I was part of a lot of the teams that provided kind of a fun thing for the employees. Every year we would hold like Easter egg hunts, or we would have Christmas parties. We would do team outings to Mariners games or to Seahawk games. So all of that, I think, gives me the understanding of everyone has an opinion and everyone's opinion is valued. So, the need to listen to everyone is great. And I think when you can do that and make that person feel like you've heard what they're saying, again, gives us a greater chance at success. As far as the vision for the future of the city and what steps the council could take to achieve it, I think most of you know, or some of you know that's on the council, I'm a big advocate for seniors. And I think that, I've heard quite a bit about the youth. I've heard quite a bit about the homeless. And so I don't want the seniors to go, kind of over in the corner. And, I've heard some people talk about, there's aging, this is an aging city. The way I look at it is that seniors still have a lot to offer. They've retired, but they probably bring with them a lot of talent from where they worked, whether it be teachers or engineers or whatever their career was. And I think that experience can be shared with the city of Federal Way in some capacity. I think one of the things I'd put on my application was to talk about, implementing some type of school to job. I know at other companies I've worked at, we've partnered with colleges, and the business would identify a need. For an example, Boeing might say, well, we need, 150 new engineers, and the college is going to provide what that, learning tool would be. And so there's this business.
The timer's gone off. The time is up.
Oh, okay. All right. So I will close at that. And thanks again for all of your time.
Great. Thank you, Debbie. All right.
Mayor Farrell?
Good job. Yes.
I've been asked to remind the applicants that when Stephanie Courtney appears on the screen, that they have 30 seconds left to speak.
Yeah. So Susan,
some applicants didn't hear that announcement.
Susan, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So she didn't appear. I've been watching and I didn't see her come up. I've just heard her say the time was up. So.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
We just wanted to because some of the applicants didn't hear that original announcement. But you did great, Debbie. Thank you for applying.
Yeah, great job, Deb. Okay, great. Let's move on to Deb Mastro-Battisto.
Hi, to the council
Hi there.
members, Mayor Farrell, second time around. Before I moved to Federal Way, I was a successful tavern owner in upstate New York, a talent manager on the East Coast in LA, and I ran a daycare in Florida. I was a substitute teacher in Bermuda and a CPR instructor in the Philippines. My husband was a federal firefighter, so that's why we moved around so much. Since moving to Federal Way, I've been involved with the Federal Way Caregiving Network and their homeless program at Calvary, and I was on the board there, and I was the volunteer coordinator for the last couple of years, to the close of the community supper, which just happened. While doing this volunteer work, I really feel like I helped to make their lives a tiny bit better each week, if only for a couple of hours. During this winter, as part of the council, or with the council's help, if not, I hope we still take care of our homeless community members when the weather is cold and snowy, and make sure that they have a warm place to rest and be out of the weather. I feel that Federal Way could figure out a way to make homelessness become a thing of the past, at least in our city, with drug treatment, mental health services, a place to live, and finally a job to get back into society. A hand up instead of a handout. You know, this is a heartfelt cause for me. My husband and I, along with our youngest son, have our own small business, Phoenix Home Repairs, right here in Federal Way. We're happy we decided to do that here. I'm also, for the city, I'm planning on being involved with other people in the community, and foremost being Roger Flagar with to get a public market in Federal Way, which I'm really excited about that, and feel that that would tie in with the rail system to get more revenue into the city if it was put in a strategic place. Of course, the city council would be an integral part of that plan. Obviously, we would need your help to get everything through on that. I've seen the city blossom in the last 7 years since I moved here, and feel that it was the right choice. And I'm anxious to be a part of its future. I feel with my background that I would bring a lot of ideas for all the people of the city, with a lot of diversity in upcoming events, hopefully job chances from the public market, including allowing young artists and musicians to have a chance to play and be noticed, maybe not so much for money, but just to get their start. And also the joy that comes from living here side by side, not mattering what your religion, race, or love partners we choose, especially during the pandemic and all that we are enduring together during this time in our lives as we actually make history. My experiences are more from life experiences. I've been around a lot of different people. I'm always willing to help. And in closing, I would have to say I'm here. I'm willing to help in any way. If the city should need me, give me a call. And that pretty much wraps it up for me.
Okay, thank you, Deb. Good job.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Okay, now we've got Catherine Festa. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Mayor Farrell. Council President Hanna, council members, I'm so honored to be here tonight. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good. So I am the oldest child of a biracial couple. My father was an Italian plumber who worked for Local 32 and retired at a reasonable age. My mother is First Nation. She's a Haida Raven, and we are from the Double Fin Killer Whale clan. I've lived in Federal Way since 1994. I bought my first house out here, and I love it. The diversity, the food, the shopping, it's a great place to live. I think that I'm a great candidate because for the past 18 years, I've worked for King County. I worked for a small division, developmental disabilities. So that enabled me to do a lot of extra work. I was able to learn about ordinances and policy work and budgets. And with the King County Native American Leadership Council, where I'm a founding member, I also was able to work on proclamations. I currently am working on the special duty project for COVID relief housing money. So through the end of the year, which has really been just great. It's very political, and I'm loving every minute of it. Some of my past work is I was a chair for the employee giving campaign. I was on the campaign for 10 years. And as the chair, I was instrumental in making sure that we changed the policy so that we were able to allow smaller agencies to get into the program and get money from employees. We had over $2 million last year given to over 900 nonprofits. Before I worked at the county, I was in construction. I worked on one of my first jobs was for Chevron, building gas stations. And I learned about city ordinances that way. The city of Bellevue wants every gas station to look like a jungle. And they pick the most expensive bushes to put in those places too. So if you go to Bellevue and you have a hard time finding gas stations, that's why. After that, I worked on the Metro Transit Tunnel as a contracts manager, and that was just a really fun project. You know, that big, huge, deep hole in downtown Seattle, and I really enjoyed it. I managed a staff of 10 people, and the project was $250 million, which back then was a lot of money. And then after that, I built the 777 hangars. I had help, but my father thinks I was alone. And then I realized that construction was just hard. It's just like you jump from job to job. And as a Native American woman in a man's field, I had to prove myself over and over and over again, which is fine. I mean, I can do it. So I said, I want to go back to the county. And that's what I did. I applied, and the third job I applied for, I got it. And I haven't looked back. I love working for the government. I love giving customer service. And I think that people deserve that. They deserve somebody who picks up the phone and answers it and says, how can I help you? So that was the first question, right? What's the next one? My vision for the future of the city is so much like so many other people. With Sound Transit coming into town, we have a really good opportunity for people to stop here and eat. We need more accessibility in Federal Way for people with disabilities too. If we had outdoor seating, something more like what Kent has and what University Village has, I would love to see dog bowls with waters outside of every place too. You know how much I love dogs, you guys. And just, you know, with covered walkways so people can, you know, like walk or take their wheelchairs through there and not get rained on and be able to go from place to place. Nobody likes to go into the mall anymore. It's so old school. Also, it would be great if we could have our own senior center here in Federal Way. And lastly, I think that, and I know that Martin will love this, I think that we need some kind of, sorry, I lost my thought here. Apprenticeship program. Thank you. There it is. Apprenticeship program in Federal Way. I think the closest one to us is in Renton. And I think that now is, okay, I see you, Stephanie. All right. My past involvement in the community is I am on the board for the Historical Society of Federal Way. I am on the Human Services Commission. I'm a Seroptimus International member. I am on the Chief's Call for the Chief of Police, and I'm also one of his community representatives. And in the past, I've worked at the hospital and for the Federal Way Coalition Against Trafficking and the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women. Thank you very much for thinking about me and letting me talk tonight. I really enjoyed it. See y'all later.
All right. Thank you very much, Catherine. Good job. Okay. Karen Brugado.
Oh, here I am. Hello?
Hi there. Yep, we can hear you and see you.
Thank you. Oh, let me change my notes. Hi, Mayor Farrell, President Honda City Council. I would like to be considered for the City Council position. Of course, I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Oregon. It's a suburb of Portland. I am also an OSU grad, just like Mr. Sadri. Go Beavs. I received a business degree in healthcare administration. The previous year, my husband-to-be received his degrees and his full commission from the Navy. Well, of course, the Navy moved us around. We were permanently stationed in San Diego. where he was a naval aviator. We spent 8 years there. My career, of course, was launched there. I was a hospital administrator working under the finance department. I was an analyst and dealt with managed care. I have an opinion about universal health care. I also attended night class to receive a master's degree. Point of fact, do not change your emphasis in the middle because you will never walk. So we moved here 28 years ago. My husband decided to fly friendly skies. We raised 3 sons here all through the public schools. And that's when my volunteering began. I've always been a member of the Federal Chorale. It started with being treasurer of the chorale. I then moved to advancing leadership in 2013. We began the Break the Chains Walk for the Federal Coalition Against Trafficking, and I helped write the business plan. The communities and schools, I am a mentor for them. The Kiwanis Club, I was treasurer of the club for a few years, and now I'm treasurer of the foundation. Thank you very much for appointing me as an arts commissioner. I remember being a newly installed arts commissioner when I decided to ask City Council to amend an ordinance, the admissions tax, to exclude 501c3s. You did too, thank you. I believe the city has an obligation for public health and safety. One worry that I have are the homeless population. I worked with Federal Caregiving Network. They are no longer giving meals out. The Catholic Care Alliance has decided to no longer provide daily meals and a place to stay. With the economy is going, a recession is going to be happening, the homeless population will be increasing. And if we don't feed them, I'm worried about what's going to happen. With the increasing number of the police force, this is a dynamic that I want to be involved in. I was excited to see that PACCAR is coming to Federal Way. The transition with light rail coming to town will mean lots of things happening. The mall will be transforming. Belmont Park will be also transforming. So now is the time to employ local talent to design and construction for a new city hall at a place we already own, the old Target location. It seems to me that people have often told me that I have written to the city council without response. I have even commented on citizens' comment without anything happening. So I would like to explore a way for more communication with the city council. I would like to add a new commission called Neighborhood Councils. We have lots of areas, very diverse areas in Federal Way. Divide the city up, have each one sponsored by the city. They could talk about zoning, land use, maintenance, beautification of their areas. This is an idea that can work because I remember 40 years ago when I was a high school student, I was employed by the Milwaukee City Hall to help the Milwaukee neighborhood councils. I think I was collating questionnaire data. Of course, I got the job because my dad encouraged me. He was very involved in city government, and he felt it would open my eyes to see how complicated city government can really be, and it did. The next year, of course, he was appointed to Milwaukee City Council himself. So when there was a position open in the Federal Way City Council, he needed to bring the ideas forward and to be chosen. And this, luckily, is my second time around. So thank you for considering me, and I hope I will be chosen for an interview. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
Great job. All right. Now we've got Jimmy Brown.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello. Good evening, Mayor, Madam President, council members. My name is Jimmy Brown, and I appreciate you guys for having me today. So when we're speaking about, for me, like everybody else, talking about the life experiences that have prepared them for this position, I think first of all, what I represent. And what I represent is a Black man, a father who has a father who has children that go to Federal Way Public Schools. And I'm also a husband. And my family lives in Regency Woods neighborhood inside of Federal Way. I also think about my grandfather, who's been living in Federal Way since 1994. And so as somebody who would frequently spend summers with him and understand the community, I see that it's changed. And to be honest, it's changed for the better. It had limited diversity back in 94, and now it seems to be one of the most diverse cities in South King County, and has the ability to become one of the most financially sustainable cities in South King County, due to the age and the demographic range that's inside of Federal Way right now. When I think about my professional experiences, as of right now, I am the CEO and founder of Ambitionous Prices Consulting. AIP Consulting specializes in leadership development training for students of color inside of traditional K-12 traditional public schools. Matter of fact, Mayor Farrell, about a year ago or so, I brought a group of students up to you to read letters about what they would like to see changed from TAF at Sahali Middle School. So that's some of the stuff that we do, is we try to get them connected directly to the people who can make the change and advocate for themselves and their communities. But I wouldn't be where I am today with AIP Consulting if it wasn't for Federal Way. 2008, 2009, I started my journey in mentorship in Federal Way Public Schools. So I started at Thomas Jefferson High School. I also worked at Decatur High School as well. And I was a mentor for King County Police Activities League. So with that work, what I learned is how to really engage and connect with community, but also how to go above and beyond to understand what their needs are and the resources that they have and or don't have, and the lack of knowledge that they have or the knowledge that they have when it comes to really interacting with the systems that they encounter every day. And so that's one of my main goals when I think about what I want to do as a council member, is to not only be the change, but represent it as well. A bigger portion of my professional work has been also hearing community voice and utilizing that to place opportunities for systemic change for all communities. And so one of the things that we did about a year ago is we listened to the voices of 150 youth inside of the community around the things they would like to see changed inside of Federal Way. This was about 10 rounds of youth voice with about 15 residents of Federal Way, all youth. And they told me some interesting things and outcomes and things that I'm currently working on now to try to get established here so that they can see the changes that they talk to me about in those sessions. Another thing we've done is inside of the actual public schools, Federal Way Public Schools, we've heard the voices of about 2,000 students about how they're interacting with school and community as well. And we've been utilizing that data to build upon building systemic models of leadership inside of schools, as well as engaging more community-based organizations and how to really place programming and other pillars inside of the community so that youth are given the chance to really excel and be hopefully one day in the seat that I'm trying to capture right now. When I think about also the future and the vision of Federal Way, I have a couple key things. And one of them is, of course, increasing the number of small businesses. As somebody who's lived in Federal Way for the last 3.5 years, and as well as been in Federal Way for 9+ years underneath my professional hat, one thing that I've seen is that there is a lot of opportunity for establishment of small businesses, specifically those that bring in bigger businesses based upon the opportunities that are provided for residents to own and establish different businesses within the city. Another thing is really looking at how we can create more attractions inside of downtown. I heard that, and I 100% agree with that. Like I said, somebody who has a teenager currently in this school system, I take them to downtown often to go shop at SeaTac Mall and things of that nature, and really just trying to fill that out and what that looks like and establishing that. Increasing economic mobility of all residents inside of Federal Way and establishing place-based opportunities for Federal Way residents to engage with City Council is big for me, so that they can understand what we are working on outside of our 2-minute time frame that they have to speak to us during public session. And then increasing the overall economic mobility of all residents will not only help economically, but also socially and emotionally for all residents inside of Federal Way. My past involvement in the community is still my current involvement. I'm actively in the community still providing services virtually for students in executive level community-based organizations. I'm a vice chair on Cascade Public Schools Board, which is a public charter in Midway. And I continue to just kind of open up the platform for community members to speak and understand what they can or cannot do to change the things that are happening here. I believe that if I give community members an opportunity to speak their voice and hear the things that they would like to change, it would develop rapport within the council that will allow them to see that we're more than just members who sit behind a desk making decisions, that we actually invest our personal free time in making these decisions and looking at the comprehensive plan to establish a safer and better federal way going forward. And so I thank you for your time. I didn't know if I was being too fast, but I saw that I was behind time in my schedule. And so I thank you guys for giving me this opportunity here, and I hope to hear from you soon.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Okay, Christopher Wilburn.
Good evening to City Council, and good evening, Mayor, and good evening, everyone on this call. Thank you for taking this call and thinking of me as the applicant of the City Council position. My background, I've been in Federal Way for 21 years, since 1999. My family's been up here in the state of Washington since 1997. We moved from Palmdale, California. That's where I was born and from. So we moved up here for both my parents. They worked at Boeing and retired from Boeing, and I went through this Federal Way school system. So I was in the school. I graduated Thomas Jefferson High School in 2008. So I've seen the way the school has been since I graduated till the time now, and also the district, how it's been operated. And then I went on to college with the Highline Community College, and then I had a job opportunity through FedEx as being a manager. And currently, right now, I work at Home Depot at the warehouse, not the retail store, and also a soccer referee. And I've been doing soccer referee for 16 years in the Federal community. Oh, sorry. So, anyways, the reason why I wanted to be involved in the City Council was I tried to be active in the community. I wanted to be on the council to make a difference in people's lives. When I was in college, I was part of the being involved in the student programs activities around the college, as far as a SCORE, which was something we had people, mainly people of color, come to the college and just show them why be a part of SCORE, or why to attend college after they get done with high school. And I also was involved in other programs, such as being the president of the Black Student Union. And I did that for a year with a few of my friends. We were a team, and our goal was to understand the history and understand how we can better now to further better people's lives. And right now, as far as community-wise, I want to get involved doing more. And I felt being involved in politics is a good kind of start for me, because I've been wanting to be involved with politics for a while. I know it's not as political as state, Senate or representatives and stuff, but it's something I want to be involved with the community, is give back. So one of the things I want to do as far as a community is being more involved with the youth. I feel the youth are the future, and the way we get involved with, we have to get involved with understanding their needs, as far as education, as far as personal needs, as far as job needs and everyday growth. So the school district, I know it's been going on with some changes through the years since I graduated until now in COVID-19. And I feel that we can better the school district by giving the teachers the resources and the salary that they deserve, and also give the students the resources they need to learn, and give them the support that they need to further better themselves into becoming better people and go into college. When it comes down to for me, for economic growth, I see that we have the light rail system coming through that's going to present some jobs for a lot of people. I do feel that we could bring more businesses, or at least try to bring some businesses inside the city of Federal Way that will be attracted to, not just light rail system, but also what the community has to offer with diversity. Bring more people. See how. Let the people see how Federal Way is in terms of the environment, and once they see that, they can they'll bring their jobs to Federal Way. In relation to that, they'll also having a better education system, having more job opportunities will also relate to lower crime rate. So that will also help the police department out with. I know there's been a good amount of crime this year in recent years past, and I feel that if you have a good, strong, economy, you have the resources that people need that they have, then you fix a lot of the problems that you see that our world doesn't get fixed. So like stuff like Seattle, where it has a higher crime rate, even though it's a bigger city, but the way it addressed it, is give the resources to the people that need them most.
Mayor, sorry to interrupt. The time is up.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Christopher. Good job. Thank you. Did you have one more? Okay. Do you have one more sentence you want to say just to wrap it up?
Thank you for the time to interview me, and hopefully I get to the second round of interviewing questions.
Okay. Thank you so much. We don't like to end it right on where somebody gets interrupted. So thank you very much. You guys, I need 30 seconds. I need to get a glass of water. I'll be right back. And then when I come back in 30 seconds, it'll be time for Ms. Janice Clark. Just one moment, Janice. Okay, I'm back. All right, Janice Clark, the floor is yours. Oh, we got to get you off mute. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council President, and City Council members for this opportunity to present to you tonight. I solicit your prayers for my fiance, who is in Harborview Medical Center, who's employed with David Savies Corporation. He's been here since August 8th. His improvement is on an upward climb. So I solicit your prayers. And I'm right here at the hospital now. I'm Janice Clark, a Black woman veteran with a 100% service-connected disability because I survived military sexual trauma while serving in the military. When I had enough, I filed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VI and Title VII complaint of sexual harassment and discrimination against the U.S. Army and the Washington Army National Guard. After blowing the whistle, I was retaliated against, denied duly deserved promotions, ostracized, and other illegal and unlawful actions was taken against me, to include the illegal court-martial that was published in the News Tribune, among other libelous information of being a convicted felon. I'm still protected under the Whistleblower Act, and my statute of limitation has not ran out, and I am seeking legal redress with regards to the News Tribune and others that will remain nameless at this point. I'm hopeful this second time around that the council would not select applicants based on their gender and or their race. with the rest of my time, I want to discuss a big picture vision that I'm hopeful for as a shared vision by the council and Mr. Mayor. I met with Mayor Farrell and his policy advisor early on when I arrived into Federal Way after a year getting settled. And I shared a vision for veterans, especially women veterans. And should I become a successful candidate, I will most definitely disclose the presentation in its entirety and give permission for my intellectual properties to be infringed upon, to be incorporated in the budget and the comprehensive plan of the city of Federal Way. There are some ideas that could come into reality regarding private and public partnerships. Perhaps we institute a promising practice, best practice, business mentorship program that will include a tax incentive for businesses that has a record of success. Should they decide to participate in the mentoring with startups and new businesses, and even those businesses that have struggled to reopen because of the effects of COVID-19 protocols. Another idea, capitalize on the exodus of businesses from our neighbors in the north, namely Seattle, and be creative in developing a win-win-win scenario for the business, the city coffers, and our citizens. We should work with the Chamber of Commerce to offer a product that I developed and coined, a business in a box. We should make the BLM movement more than just a slogan and or throwing money at social programs or reducing funding of the police budget. We should be very intentional about creating an entrepreneurial aspect of getting a revenue return on our investments. I know firsthand of being a founder and CEO of Safe Homes for 25 years and with a Master of Human Resource Management and Development degree. It takes many, many years to see a return on investment in human beings' capacity as it relates to outcome-based evaluations. We should investigate and become a partner with the federal government, if we hadn't already done so, to design or establish an opportunity zone based upon the need in our census tracts. We should make sustainability an integral part of our mission and vision statements and to be infused into the culture of Federal Way. I heard someone mention tonight about sustainability, and we can certainly do that with our public-private partnership. It's real full. I have developed a number of programs and projects for active duty military, veterans, and their family members that helps businesses with their corporate responsibility. This program is called BPIF, Businesses Paying It Forward, and Military Wellness Initiative Network for active duty military veterans and their family members in connecting our honored heroes and sheroes to community-based services and opportunities for them to volunteer. Just because we served
Ms. Clark, your time has wrapped up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, thank you, Janice. Is there
I do
one
have
sentence?
Can I finish it?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And finally, the vision is to become a member of Neighborhoods USA, NUSA, where we could showcase our wonderful neighborhood jewels, which will bring revenue into our city. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Janice. Good job. Okay. Our next applicant is Joseph Franco.
Hi there. How y'all doing? Great.
Hi, good.
Great. Hi, I'm Mr. Mayor. Hello, City Council members, Mayor Farrell, President Honda, everyone. My name's Joe Franco. I am a candidate for City Council Position 5. I've dedicated my life overall to public service. I've, from the time I was a young kid to going through high school and all the way up till now, I work in the public sector, on top of being a part of real estate, obviously. But my current work is in college admissions at the University of Washington. I'm a product of the South Sound. I grew up in Renton, Washington, moved to Federal Way when I decided to attend college at the University of Washington in Tacoma. And during my time at the UW, I saw tuition increase by 50%. I saw the struggles of students trying to make ends meet. I saw single parents going to school to complete their degrees, and some of them sacrificing dinners to buy books. And so this tenacity that I saw in my colleagues really motivated me to pursue a degree in politics, philosophy, and economics. I knew, from a young age that the impact that I could make on the world could be through legislation and changing and guiding policies to make things more equitable for people. I've lived in Federal Way over 10 years. I've also seen the vast growth and development of our downtown area and the unique position that we are in with the new Link Light Rail Station coming down. Also, I do see that a lot of folks are moving to the South Sound because obviously Seattle rents are driving people out of the city, me included. My current work in education and real estate has developed the skills that I need to become a better negotiator, a relationship builder and leader, and a leader that Federal Way, I would say, needs. And wanting to hone my skills even further, I decided to pursue a master's in public administration at Seattle University, and I finished that up in December of 2019. So that was tough for sure. But the program definitely prepared me with the knowledge and policy analysis, administration, management, research. And I hope to bring I brought all of that to the Federal Way Human Services Commission, where I currently serve. So my work at the UW admissions office also placed me in Federal Way schools, where I was able to work one-on-one with students on their pathway to college. And so I also was able to hear kind of their concerns about difficulties living in the city at this time. Overall, I do come in with about 3 different plans. Number one, I'd like to work on economic development of our downtown corridor. I believe that the best way to do that is through removing barriers for small businesses and designating opportunity zones for these businesses. I want to be able to expand educational offerings, also for people that are trying to start their own business. I'm obviously not going to teach that, but I'd love to partner with different educational institutions to do that. Business courses for the public, maybe possibly offered through the community center, starting new programs, obviously, to drive economics up here in Federal Way. And I also would love to try to help attract larger businesses to Federal Way as well. We all know that there is an empty Sears store right in the Commons. I'd love to try to figure out how we can fill that up here with my appointment. I also want to prioritize health and human services and more training for the Federal Way Police Department. As a city councilor, I do hope to work on policies that address systemic racism. I hope that the city will be able to attract better services also for those struggling with mental issues. I also hope that we are able to fund better de-escalation tactics for our Federal Way Police Department and more accountability for them. My priority also would be in diversity trainings for our police department and government employees as well as being able to rehabilitate our homeless population that is growing here in Federal Way. I'd also, third and finally, would like to work with our state government officials to help secure more resources and funding for the Federal Way School District. I hope to prioritize career and college counseling in our schools so our students will have better access to higher education. I believe the council could work hand in hand with state legislatures to find more funding for our underserved schools and populations. We can work on building partnerships with local nonprofits and federally funded programs. It looks like my time is up. I see Stephanie there. One more thing is that I believe I would be an excellent fit for the council position, and I know that I would represent Federal Way well and move Federal Way into the future. Thank you for your time and consideration. Good night.
Thank you, Joseph. Great job. Okay, our next candidate is Marcus Niles. Marcus.
Marcus is on. Oh, go ahead, Stephanie.
I was going to say, it looked like he was connecting by phone. He might need to unmute *6.
Yes. So I have asked him to unmute, and then if Marcus can hear us, please go ahead and press *6 to unmute yourself. I'm still showing that Marcus is muted. And I'm going to ask him to unmute one more time. I might need to personally reach out to him.
Marcus, hit *6.
Mayor, he's still showing as muted.
Should we go to Susan Sang while you reach out to Marcus? Or you want to just give it a second?
Why don't we do that to keep things going?
Okay. Susan, are you available?
Yes, I am.
Hi. And we can see you. All right.
Yay.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, good evening, council members. My name is Susan Sang, and I'm African American. I migrated from Kenya in 1993 and moved to Bay Area the first time I came to United States. And soon I got my son. In 1995, we decided to move to Federal Way. And that is where I've been to this date. We have a small business with my family, and my sons are grown now. I have two sons, ages of 20 and 25. I have worked as a caregiver. I have worked in different settings, gas stations. I chose to pretty much work as a caregiver because I was really passionate about giving care and caring for others. I've also worked at Safeway, if I'm not wrong. However, I would like to work with Federal Way residents. I started a small business, and I would really like to continue giving contributing into the community. I did come from a family, I will back up a little bit. I came from a family of 7 siblings, and my mom was a single parent, and I had a need, she really had this need of us being educated, but because she was short-handed, she became sick, and that threw her off, and we had to kick in and chip in and educated our siblings. And all of them have graduated as at the universities right now. And so I have seen the need for especially the immigrants especially where I come from, to encourage children to stay in school and to be productive members of the community. I also would like to, oh my goodness, I have so much to say and so much little time. Federal Way has really given me a lot of opportunities. I have met many people who have encouraged me. And however, we've had difficult times sometimes getting what we needed. And we thought if we can get one person in the council, in the council or some who is diverse, especially from Africa. We thought maybe that would really be helpful for the community out there. I have volunteered in many organizations, especially things starting with immigrants and education. I have helped several families really teaching them English. Most of our immigrants, when they get here, we only know our native language. I'm one of those who came here and benefited from a group or from an organization who taught me really how to read well and write in English. And I decided at that point that I was going to go to college and learn more. And this was really made possible by a group of some church that I used to go to in Federal Way. So we've come together with other friends, and we've taken in children, encouraged them to stay in school, especially teenagers, and showed them a better path, families with different strengths and strength and abilities to help our kids to stay in school and to do the right thing. I think that's all I got really to say.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Great job.
Mayor, we're still having some challenges with Marcus. I wasn't able to get a hold of him, so I'm emailing him now.
Okay. Shakina Davis.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to provide additional information to consider during this appointment.
Shakina, can you hear us? Your screen froze. Shakina?
Yeah, Mayor, it looks like she actually froze. Her connection might have cut out or dropped. She might have been in a poor area. It might reconnect shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, she just went to mute. There we go.
Okay, can you hear us, Shakina?
Yes, looks like I dropped off just momentarily. Sorry about that.
Shakina Davis, take two.
Thank you.
Restarted the clock.
Exactly.
Okay.
Take
Perfect. Thank you. Like I said, Shakina Davis, I've lived in Federal Way for just over 2 years. I believe that the combination of my education, work experiences, and integration of race, equity, and social justice in all I do prepare me for this position. I currently serve as a commissioner on the Federal Way Diversity Commission. I've worked in local government for more than 20 years, having experience in transportation, public health, municipal and district courts, customer service, personnel, finance, and fire and emergency services. I've earned a bachelor's degree in administration of justice studies and a master of education concentrated in human relations from Northern Arizona University. My experience includes leading efforts to ensure the principles and practices of Seattle's Race and Social Justice Initiative are embedded into policy, programs, and community projects. My lived experiences provide a variety of useful insights in service to the residents of Federal Way. I am a single parent to 2 wonderful children, one of which is currently enrolled in Federal Way Public Schools. I grew up in the central area of Seattle, and over the last several years, I have watched my close-knit, family-oriented community seized through gentrification, witnessing the community impacts of underinvestment, food scarcity, disparate education, and inequitable housing practices has increased my motivation to help others and advocate for racial equity and social justice. My vision for the future of Federal Way is a city that is a leader in the region for incorporating equity, inclusion, and social justice as a basis of all planning, where residents are considered and don't live with the fear of displacement, where my 5-year-old son and his peers are afforded an opportunity to realize institutionalized racial equity, equal access to top-tier education, and pipelines to entrepreneurship. Actions that City Council can take to achieve this future is to develop strong multi-sector partnerships and meet community members where they are to gather input and find ways to collaborate on approaches and implementation. COVID-19 has drastically altered the way we live and engage with our families, friends, and community. While there are challenges, there are also opportunities to conduct business and engage differently. Until recently, I held 2 jobs to provide for my family. As a single parent, I'm acutely aware of the challenges that many of us are facing while trying to educate our children at home, working full-time in some cases, and managing the day-to-day activities within the household. With the loss of one of my jobs, I have been able to dedicate more time to informal mentorship, participating in additional subcommittees through my work with the Diversity Commission, and I was also selected to participate in the 2020-2021 Community Leadership Institute cohort offered through Puget Sound Stage. The program prepares participants to serve on government boards, commissions, and elected offices. I believe that the combination of my education, work, and lived experience will assist me in connecting with my community and ensuring the voices of those previously unheard will be elevated to a place where real change can happen. Thank you again for your consideration.
Okay, thank you very much. Great job. Okay, have we had any luck locating Marcus Niles?
Negative, Mayor. I've sent him an email just a minute or so ago. I called him again just now, and still no answer, no response. I'm gonna ask him to unmute one more time. Oh, actually, he's calling me back right now. Why don't we go to the next one and I'll get him sorted out.
Okay. All right. Jack Dovey.
Good morning, afternoon, Jim and Council.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, how are you guys? Yeah, I'm Jack Dovey, and I thank you for the time to talk to you a little bit about my background. I've been in Federal Way since 1968, product of the Federal Way schools. I graduated at Oregon State University in geography with a major in transportation and landscape architectural type things back in the day. And I've raised my family in Federal Way. I have a son who's in San Jose and a daughter who's in Johannesburg, South Africa. The reason I'm applying is I've been on the council for a total of 14 years, served with many of you, but I've been doing volunteer work over the last years. I've been the president of the Federal Way Caregivers Network, which feeds the homeless, organizes the organic gardens, and does rent assistance for those in need in Federal Way. I've been involved in Rotary as a member and working on the social services committee. And then I also mentored some high school children and actually brought one in that was homeless and lived with me, my wife and I, for 2 years before he could go join the Army. So I've been very active in human services. My experience as a business person, I've been running a business since 1984. Currently, I have 30 employees. I've learned to work through the COVID debacle that we've all been through, the pandemic. I think I could bring some good background to small businesses on how to navigate the governmental agencies and the funding and different things that they're probably looking for. And I think it would be really important if the city had a liaison to help small businesses, even medium-sized businesses, to know what's available to them and how to think about how to pivot their businesses so they stay viable. My experience is such that I've been the mayor of the Federal Way for 2 years. I've served as chair of every committee that I know of, FEDERAC and Land Use and Planning and Parks and Rec. I was on the Hotel Motel Tax Committee. So I've been able to work with council members over the years and understand how to do that, and been in a position where I actually chaired those committees. I understand how to work with a municipal budget. I've been through probably two of the toughest budgets Federal Way ever had, in the recession. And prior to that, when we had to actually lay people off, we had to change how we gave services to the community. So I have some industry knowledge that would be helpful, I think, to work with the current council and understand how you have to run a budget to keep everything running the way it is. I've served regionally on Enterprise Seattle, which is the business group, Puget Sound Regional Council, the solid waste, and been involved in all those things. I think one of the things that Federal Way can really act on and maybe try to work towards is we do have a business opportunity zone in Federal Way. It was actually granted by the governor and signed by the federal government. It might be a way to market a bubble to bring in businesses into that zone to invest and to work at something around education, i.e. a trade show, trade school, entrepreneurship and things like that. But I feel Federal Way is poised to grow. We're at a place where our neighbors to the north are having issues, and we have land, we have zoning, and we have a good place for people to live in great neighborhoods. So I put my name in here to help serve. I've got some time right now. I'd be up and running very quickly, and that's why I applied. So I thank you all for the opportunity and look forward to see what happens.
All right, thank you, Jack.
Thank you for your time.
Great job.
Bye.
All right. Okay, Marcus Niles.
Mayor Thomas was able to get a hold of him, and he's actually unavailable right now to hold the interviews. He had some personal issues come up. So
Okay.
he would still like his application to be considered. He's just not able to do the interview tonight.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and then do we have Christopher Dowler?
I don't believe so, Mayor. I think Thomas is working to try to connect them, but they have not been connected at all in the meeting.
And both he and Mr. Price?
Mr. Price, we weren't able to confirm at all, so we have not heard any contact from him since he sent his application in. And we are working to get Christopher on the phone now. If Thomas has any more update, he'll let you know.
Mayor, I called him, but did not answer. It went to voicemail, and he hasn't been on all meeting. I've been monitoring.
Okay. Okay, well, we have gone through our agenda. Sorry we couldn't get Mr. Niles, Mr. Dowler, and Mr. Price on for interviews. We had quite a number of great interviews. We are not going to make any decisions, or the council will not make any decisions this evening. I think it's fair to say the council and then myself and staff are so appreciative of each and every one of the applicants. They did a great job, and applicants, candidates, and it was great to hear them all and great ideas. And with that, I think with our agenda, Council President Honda, do you have a comment?
I just wanted to thank the applicants on behalf of the council for applying. You all did a great job on your interviews. And I'd also like to give a big thanks to the staff. I know this isn't always easy to have these special meetings and the time that goes into it. So as a council, we really do appreciate your assistance with this, and also with your assistance, Mayor Farrell, because you've been very helpful too. So the process continues.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And it's so great to hear from our fellow neighbors and council. Thank you. You're just great listeners and really presented a welcoming front. And so this is a really important process. So it being 7:42 p.m., our business is completed. At this time, I will adjourn the meeting. Great job, council. See you next Tuesday.